How's it going, everyone? Data here, and welcome back to the San Jose Sharks franchise mode, episode number 20. Can you believe it? Episode number 20, headed into year number 6, the 2027-28 regular season. Now, in the last one, in the offseason, aside from the draft, I'll get into those thoughts in a moment, in free agency, we were flush with cash, and we went out and made a big splash, signing one of the top 5 defensemen according to overall in the NHL, Quinn Hughes. With Erik Karlsson's $11.5 million gone and Logan Couture's $8 million gone, we had a lot of money to play with, and we went out and gave Hughes a $15.25 million contract for the next 7 years. It feels like a lot in today, thinking through today's eyes, but in 2027-28, the salary cap is $99.5 million. So in terms of percentage of the salary cap, 15.25 is only about 1% of the salary cap more than Karlsson's making today at $11.5 million. So still a lot of money, but not as much as you would think, I think at least. So Quinn Hughes signed on for the next 7 years, a huge piece for us. He's been a player who scores between 60, 70 points or so in the simulation. Put him on a good team, a Stanley Cup defending team at that, and I think he could be explosive, especially if he's playing with Kalinin +5. Those are things we'll think about later on. Also in the offseason, we saw growth from Boris, the Latvian locomotive Kalinin, who made his NHL debut in the postseason last year and was in the AHL, came up to the NHL, put up 6 points, was a +12 in 18 games. Now he'll make his NHL regular season debut. The rest of the defense continues to grow and is looking pretty solid. Offense-wise, I made some changes to the X factors. We'll get into those a little later on. No major changes aside from bringing in Tyler Boucher for the 4th line. Philip Bystett's moving up to a 3rd line role. Larry Tongue's up into the NHL. And goaltending, we're giving another 1-year contract to Linus Ullmark, who led us that Stanley Cup, backed up by the phenom at the end of last season. In the second half of last season, Philip Lindbergh, who made his NHL debut and went 31-4-1 in 36 games, had 3 shutouts, a .920 save percentage, and 2.46 goals against average. Absolutely ridiculous numbers. In the postseason, he faltered a little bit. Still had a solid record, but Ullmark started to play better, and then he just ran away with it, and we won the Stanley Cup. So Lindbergh is back as the backup. Ullmark will start the season as the starter. Most likely, we'll see what happens in the preseason, and we'll go from there. We do have some questions with some 78 overall fringe guys who want to break into the lineup. Down in the AHL, we're still looking at growth from Riley, from Karlsson. On defense, we have Aaron Kiviharju. So, and of course, our high elite goaltending prospect, Torsten Hornqvist. Yes, of course, along with our other Jesus Foy. So things are looking good here in San Jose. Quick little organizational update. Headed into 2027-28, our 6th season with the franchise, we are defending Stanley Cup champions. Most of the team has remained unchanged, aside from Erik Karlsson having to walk and Logan Couture retiring. But aside from those two, the top 6 is still locked. We got Quinn Hughes in here. It's going to be an exciting season. But the question, the big question, the last episode for the assistant general managers was, will that exciting season include our exciting prospect, Samu Ranta, who we drafted 8th overall in 2027 draft this past offseason. A player who you would think would go like 1st, 2nd, 3rd overall, ends up dropping to 8th. He was slated to go around there. I guess just teams didn't have him as highly scouted as we did. 8th overall. He's an 82 overall out of the draft with 5-star shooting, 18 years of age with all those X factors, having played in Liga, 3 goals, 18 points in 56 games last season. The big question is, do we play him in the NHL in this upcoming 2027-28 season? Do we sign him to play in the NHL, the AHL, or possibly just leave him in Europe? He would be a great addition for that 3rd line, but it would mean Philip Bystedt getting bumped down, and Bystedt last year in his rookie season, playing on the 4th line, put up 35 points in 82 games, was a +18, and that was all while doing under 9 minutes of ice time per night. He's still an 80 overall, but he does have that medium top 6 potential, and hopefully playing him with Glass and Lind, better line mates, more ice time, that could help him really grow, because we know in the near-ish future, guys like Drouin, guys like Hurdle, they will not be here any longer. So we need to have players who can at least slot into that 2nd line, and even if Ranta does become a full-time 2nd liner by next season, I would love to have Bystedt be a full-time 3rd liner, and we're not going to get him to that point if we continue to bury him on the 4th line. So that was a major question for the assistant general managers. Let's check out what they had to say about that question, as well as any other comments that they had. So starting off down in the comments with Golden Gamer, who says, just when you thought it couldn't get any better, GM Data makes the magic happen. Way to go, Data. Thank you, Golden. Appreciate those kind words and for your own assistance over in the Discord server, adding your thoughts along the way. The huge pickup of Ranta plus the incredible signing of Quinn Hughes has set us up for success. And of course, we can't forget the +5 chemistry on Mats the Bats Rodin with the Latvian locomotive Boris Kalinin. They are the future of this team, and the future is looking bright. In terms of this season, though, there's a lot of things to look at, starting with the leadership. I think it's time for Connor Bedard to ascend to the captain role that Logan Couture set him up for. Have him lead this team for the future, probably with the alternates going to Hurdle, maybe even Lindell, maybe even Quinn Hughes, or maybe even Jonathan Drouin. Who knows? I'll leave that part up to you. For the X Factors, I'd give one to Drouin. His career high season definitely deserves some reward. So maybe a shooting X Factor, like one-timer crease crasher. Maybe Lindell, and maybe even an extra one to Lucius. I'll get into the ones that I added in a moment. As for any new pickups, I wouldn't trade for Brett Pesce. We mentioned how he could be a right defenseman addition to our top 4 if we were to move out Esa Lindell, but Golden thinks that Lindell has been very good for us, especially in the postseason should we make it back again. Golden would possibly go after Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, as he could be someone who fills that second or third line spot, depending on what we need, I guess, when the halfway point or deadline comes around. As I would know from the Fantasy Hockey League, our Data782 Fantasy Hockey League over on Yahoo Sports, when teams let him cook, he will create a culinary cuisine. I would probably trade away Cole Lind for him, as Lind has most likely done what he can do for the team and is in a position where he could benefit from moving on to a new one. Cole Lind, he's on a cheap contract, he's good for the pound and kill. I'm not saying that I'm looking to trade him, but he would probably be the odd man out if we were to bring somebody in for the top 9. All the best for next season. Let's get that repeat cup. Go Sharks. Thank you, Golden. So speaking of those X Factor additions, on Jonathan Drouin, he had no X Factors. Coming off of a season in which he scored 39 goals and 44 assists for 83 points in 82 games, then 20 points in 19 games with 12 goals in the postseason. Drouin, I went ahead and gave him the Schneip superstar ability as well as tape to tape. I add up to 3 X Factors. I thought it would make sense to just put 1 for shooting, 1 for passing. I thought that would be fair. I also went around the rest of the NHL and made sure all the other top overall players on each team had X Factors. Additionally, I gave another couple to Chaz Lucius. He just had Schneip. I added on top of that 1 T and tape to tape. He's a great passer, but he's also our one-time guy on the power play unit. Last season, 50 assists, 74 points in 73 games. So there you go for Chaz Lucius. So Lucius and Drouin, I only added for them. I was considering adding for Esa Lindell, but as soon as I start adding for an 83 overall on my team, I gotta start adding for 83 overalls on other teams. And I just thought that in the name of trying to keep the league as balanced as possible, we'll just pass on Lindell for the moment. So Drouin and Lucius, the newest X Factor addition players to the team. And of course, we see that helps the second line. I think Lucius, Bedard, and Buchnevich already had a +5. It's Drouin, Hurdle, and Eklund that had the +3. Now they too have the +5. Drouin is on an expiring deal. He was making only $4.4 million. We saved him from free agency. I would love to keep this guy long term, but if he's going to want $10+ million like he's asking for right now, this will unfortunately be our last season with him. Moving on now to Super Loser's comment, who says, great episode as always, Data. Thank you, my friend. Regarding Ranta, I'd leave him in Europe for now. In my experience, anyone over 80 doesn't see any growth in the AHL, and the only way to fit him in the top 9 is to push Bystedt out. I think Bystedt needs that ice time to develop much more than Ranta does. I tend to agree. For the captaincy, I'd give it to Thomas Hurdle. He's been one of our best players for the entire series and a Shark his entire career. Bedard gets an A and will get the C when Hurdle leaves. For me, the second A is a toss-up between Buchnevich and Lindell. Lindell has been our steadiest D-man, but Buchnevich is our Conn Smythe winner. Tough decision. You really can't go wrong with either of them. I wouldn't make any trades unless you run into major issues during this season, and the team looks great as is. Let's get that back-to-back. Good luck and go Sharks. Thank you, Super Loser. I tend to agree on that comment as a whole. Ranta, although he could play in the AHL, growth would be questionable. We've seen a lot of players not grow in the AHL in this series so far. Plus, it would burn a year of his ELC for what, really? So I think in the name of trying to get this team stronger in the future, even if it's a little weaker to put Bystedt on that third line set of Ranta, I think it's better in the name of the future of this team. Plus, at the same time, Ranta, although we're very high on him, in the real world, we don't know that he's an 82 overall with 5-star shooting. All we know is that he just scored 3 goals in 40-some games in Liga, which is okay, but I wouldn't say it's anything to say we gotta force the 18-year-old into the lineup right now and force out our homegrown prospect who just had a great rookie season last year. It wouldn't make sense for a guy who's been with this team now for 5 years, had a great rookie season, deserves the promotion to the third line, and he gets bumped out for an unproven 18-year-old. So for storyline purposes and for the future betterment of this team, I think Bystad staying on the third line, barring any major issues, and Ranta staying in Europe will be the plan for year number 6. Bystad also, for what it's worth, has a perfect line fit on the third line. That gives a +5 in terms of line score, Glass +1, so +6, and Lynn cancels out. So all 3 two-way forwards, a line score of 6. The chemistry is at a 0, doing all those calculations in my head. But, for, just to say for what it's worth, especially if Bystad were to become our full-time third-line center in the future, once Glass likely moves on after, not this season, but after next season, it's good to have him there as well, because we're also locked into our coach. B Greenup makes mention of that in this comment here, saying, wow, what a pickup in Ranta. As much as I'd like to sign him and see him make a run at the Calder, I think he should be in the top 6 to have a real shot at it. But he'd have to be at least on the third line right now. And then, Bystad deserves his shot on the third line. Bystad has perfect third line chemistry. So unless we decide to move a middle 6 forward, which I wouldn't be totally opposed to, depending on regression, I think we leave Ranta unsigned for this season. Some thoughts on a 7th defenseman, which in a follow-up comment was said to be forgotten about, because we do have Bjorn Fott, who's going to be coming back. As for captaincy, I think Hertl or Bedard should wear the C. Coming off a cup win and poised for another run at it, I think the team should have a captain, and I'm fine with either. Obviously, the other would get an A, and I don't think it's crazy to give the third A to Quinn Hughes. We have made our commitment to him, and he can be a good leader on this team for our young defenseman. Agreed there as well. An X-Factor vote for Lucius, as well as maybe Drouin and Lindell. Yeah, all taken care of. Maybe even Philip Lindbergh. He did have one of the greatest goaltending seasons in recent history, but I don't usually touch goaltending X-Factors because, none of the goalies in the entire NHL, aside from, I think, Vasilevsky and maybe Shesterkin, have X-Factors in terms of non-generated goalies. So again, that'll be a big job going through the whole league and making sure everything's balanced. And when everyone's super, no one is, right? Syndrome, the Incredibles. Overall, good off-season. Really hoping Hughes can win some Norris trophies for us. Also hoping that cap hit doesn't hurt too much in the future. As you know, it would have a full no-movement clause. Yes, absolutely. That Quinn Hughes contract, if we really wanted to trade him in his last year or 2, maybe there's a 3-team trade list, but definitely a full-on no-movement clause for the time being. There are a lot of other comments throwing in their thoughts on bringing over Ranta or not, and X factors for Drouin, Lucius, etc. So thank you, all of those have been digested, and that resulted in the moves that I did make. Even if the comment is not highlighted, always replied to on YouTube. I'll close it out with Pat, who says, this was a heck of an offseason. Ranta is a massive win. I would wait a year before signing him. Your lineup is set already, and 4th line or AHL play will burn valuable ELC and may even stunt his growth. I wish I knew why the AHL team is where prospects go to gain 2 overall over 3 years for you, but until we have proof otherwise, I would avoid sending the prospects there as long as possible. Plus, waiting a year to activate it means you get 3 years of a top 6 forward and Quinn Hughes for a combined $16 million a season. Stuff like that is dynasty fuel. Can't wait for the next one, brother. Thank you, brother, for that comment. And I think that although there were some comments talking about Ranta growing and acclimatized to the North American game, I think it does make the most sense organizationally in the current day and in the long term to leave Ranta for the time being. We'll keep tabs on him, but I think this will be the team moving forward. That team will also hopefully include Larry Tongue, who is still not really growing. He was, I think, a 77 when we drafted him 3 years ago, 27th overall in 2024. Since then, he's grown only to a 78. He does have the quick draw and no contest superstar abilities. Red Boy over in the Discord server, Larry Tongue, forgotten draft bust. So hopefully this will be the chance that he's been waiting for. He did score 43 goals and 74 points in 72 games in the AHL last season. We gave him a 9-game tryout in 2025-26. He scored 2 assists in 9 games. We then sent him back down, and he scored 41 points in 58 games. Then, of course, all last season played a full 72. This season, we're going to try to get him to become a full-time NHLer, to stick on that 4th line with Cunnin and Tyler Boucher, who's now part of our team. We do have some other fringe guys, though, that we'll want to give chances to in the preseason. Gushin, Tuamala, Ozzy Weisblatt, another first-round pick, 31st overall in 2020. 7 years later, at the age of 25, still yet to play a game in the NHL, I believe, correct? Correct. 58 points last season for him in 72 games in the AHL. So a few players who are going to want to try and make a mark and impress in the preseason, but most of the team is pretty much locked up. So what we can do right now is simulate the beginning of the preseason. I think I have a couple of free agent contracts that I'm waiting to see if they get signed for depth players in the AHL. I am already sent out the scouts. I'm using a new scouting method. It's recommended by Red Boy in the Discord server. Alex Bocage, bienvenue à l'équipe. Hopefully Tobias Bjornfot, he's back as our 7th D, great. So I'll be curious to see how that strategy works for scouting. If Antonio Strange is also a player who's been suggested in the past. He was a free agent, we signed him. This new strategy for drafting has been suggested for a long while in the Discord server. I'm finally trying it out. It's had a lot of rave reviews from the Discord server users, so I'll be sure to let you know how it goes. But for the moment here at the beginning of the preseason, I'm not going to bring you through it game by game because I think all of our major decisions have already been made. I'm going to give Larry Tongue some middle 6, top 6 time. Weisblatt, Gushin, Twamala. They'll all get at least 2 or 3 games each of top 9, and we'll see if any impress enough to say, okay, let's give them the 4th line spot. So I'll simulate through all of that and let you know the results at the end of the preseason. But entering game number 1 of the preseason, we do have to get our new captain here in the organization. There were some thoughts for Hertl, some thoughts for Connor Bedard. Last season, it was Captain Couture with alternates Hertl and Carlson. Now that Carlson and Couture are gone, I think the captaincy is Tomas Hertl's for the taking. We know that Connor Bedard will be the future captain of this organization. Hertl's 33. He has more years behind him than in front of him, but I think that he's been here for what, like 14, 15 years now? The captaincy should be his for the taking. So Tomas Hertl, we will name him captain of the organization. Connor Bedard will get an A for the first time. Instead of jumping from nothing to captain, we'll give him the alternate captaincy first, and the second alternate will go to Quinn Hughes. I'd be tempted to give it to Esa Lindell, but Lindell is likely gone after this season, and Quinn Hughes just signed a big 7-year contract, huge commitment. He likely would want the alternate captaincy as part of those negotiations in free agency. So Quinn Hughes and Connor Bedard as the 2 alternates to Tomas Hertl, the new captain of the San Jose Sharks, headed into the preseason. So here at the end of the preseason, we end up going 6-1-0, a great record. Quinn Hughes led the team in points with 11 through 7 games. Hopefully a sign of much more to come. Next, in terms of forwards, we have Connor Bedard, 7 goals in 7 games, 9 points for him. Buchnevich, Drouin, great stuff. What we want to see are the guys that we were showcasing, though, the guys that we were giving opportunities to, because we see that the rest of the team, everyone pulled their weight, everyone did great. 5 points from Cunnin, that's actually really cool, with about 10 minutes of ice time per night. Eklund, 5 points in 4 games. He's looking good. What I want to see, though, here, Danil, I got to commit to a way of how I'm going to say his name, so I'm going to call him Gushin until someone else tells me otherwise. Gushin had 4 assists through 3 games and was a +3 with about 13.5 minutes of ice time per night. He did quite well. Meanwhile, you had Larry Tongue, also 3 points in 5 games. Not too bad, +3. I like that. Disappointments, though, from Tyler Boucher. Shout out to him. 3 points in 5 games, +3. He also pulled his weight. He did okay. I'm disappointed in, let's see them, down at the bottom here, Twamala. We gave him 3 games. He had 1 assist through his 3 games. He was a negative player for most of them. He got a little plus in the last game that brought him back. But I think he was -1, -1, then +2, something along those lines, playing on the 2nd and 3rd line. 5 shots in 3 games. I don't know, as a guy who took a lot of shots in the AHL, I don't know, wasn't super impressed with him, and especially not with Ozzy Weisblatt, who had 3 games and was a -2, 11.5 minutes of ice time per night. Ozzy, I know it's a super tiny sample size, but there wasn't a lot of wiggle room, and he did not take it, unfortunately. Kalinin, Pickering, Rodin, all with 1 point each there through 7 games. Tomas Hertl, only 3 assists in 7 games. Lucius. Goaltending now, both did very well, both goaltenders. Ullmark went 3-1-0 with a shutout. Lindbergh 3-0-0 through 3 games. 916 save percentage and 2.33 goals against average from Lindbergh. Meanwhile, Ullmark in the 1 extra game had a 921 save percentage and 2.01 goals against average. So I think Ullmark will continue as our starter to begin the season, but Lindbergh, great numbers, and it's going to be more than just a 60-20 split. I'm thinking very even games here between the two of them until one really starts to pull away. So with those point totals in mind, the top 6 stays as it is, even the third line stays as it was, so the top 9 untouched. But I think I'm going to give Gushin the 4th line to start the season. 3 assists in 4 games, maybe just a quick flash in the pan. Boucher also did very well. Tyler Boucher, that's why he's going to be our first guy right there as 13th forward to start off. I wouldn't be surprised if he's back to full-time 4th liner and Gushin is actually the 13th forward sooner rather than later. But Tyler Boucher will be the 13th forward. I think I'm going to send Twamala down to the AHL, but Ozzy Weisblatt, I think it's time to move on from him entirely. Tobias Bjornfot also going to get called up to be our 7th defenseman, and that's that. So I'll take care of all those little organizational things, make sure the power play special team lineups are all good down in the AHL, and we can get this season started. Alright, so that's all taken care of, and we can now simulate to the beginning of the 2027-28 regular season. I'm very excited to see this not that we just won, but we won by some good margins. 4-1 wins, I think there was a 5-0 win in there. We did very well defensively as well while having a strong offense. So I'm looking forward to seeing if that can translate to the regular season. In this 2027 season opener, we will see an NHL debut from Daniil Gushin, who, by the way, I just noticed is number 66. That's interesting. Larry Tonga getting his second chance at the NHL. We will see the regular season debut of Boris Kalinin and the San Jose Sharks debut of Quinn Hughes. Starting it off here against the Minnesota Wild, our Stanley Cup defense starts here in the Shark Tank to take on the Minnesota Wild. Also, the first game for Tomas Hertl as captain of the organization after his years and years with the franchise. First period of year number 6. Let's do it. First shot of the night. Connor Bedard scores. Buchnevich adds another one, and Bedard gets his second. Wow! The first shot of the season goes in as Bedard opens it up. Who else but Connor Bedard? Pavel Buchnevich just a minute and 20 seconds later on the power play, and Connor Bedard with his second of the period, making it 3-0. Who's this goalie? DiVincentis, allowing 3 goals on 12 shots, 5 saves from Allmark to start it off. Second period, 2 goals here from the Wild. Kalen Addison on the power play, followed by Justin Surdif, even strength. Shots are 22-12 in our favor, and we're up by 1 headed into the third period in front of the home fans. Power play Minnesota to open the period. It's an extended one, 5-on-3 now, of course. You can't do 5 minutes of penalty killing, 5-on-3 as well. Cousins scoring on the power play to tie it up. Power play Wild again, but Philip Bystedt scores as that power play expires. Power play of our own now, and Jonathan Drouin says, I'm going to try and get 40 this year. Let's start off with one right there. Mats Rodin makes it 6. From a 3-2 to a 3-3 to now blowing it open, a 6-3 potentially. Is this going to be a victory right here? Power play to end it? Yes. 6-3 the final. Shots and 34-20. 3 goals in the third period from Bystedt, Drouin, and Rodin helping us out. A goal and 2 assists from Buchnevich, 2 goals from Connor Bedard, and 3 assists from William Eklund to win our first game of the season. The defense was a little suspect. 3 goals on those 20-some shots. We're going to give Lindbergh the next start since it is a back-to-back. We're at home once again now to take on the Chicago Blackhawks. So Lindbergh, the hero of last season, he's going to get a king's welcome here in the Shark Tank. His first regular season start since all of that last season. He got pulled a bit, lost the crease after the first round or so of the postseason last year, but now he's back. Take on the Blackhawks in this second game of the regular season. Here we go. First period, reverse of last game as Tyler Radish scores on the first shot of the game for the Blackhawks. Then Quinn Hughes, his first as a Shark on the power play to tie it up. Reeson makes it a 2-1 game for the Hawks, and then 2-2 once again as Esa Lindell ties it up. Shots 13-11 after 20. Second period now. 4-3. Tongue. Larry Tongue. His first career NHL goal coming to give us the 3-2 lead. And then Roslovic ties it up at 3 and Willem Eklund restores our lead. 4-3 Sharks. We're being outshot 27-21 while we're up by 1 here in the third period. Power play Sharks killed off. Power play Blackhawks killed off as well. Power play Blackhawks once again. They're second in the first 7 minutes or so. We kill off both of those, but then Krutzer ties it up at 4. We're being outshot 32-26 with 8 minutes to go. This game's all tied up. But Philip Bystedt, short-handed, makes us up 5-4. And then William Eklund on the power play. The special teams coming through in this one. 6-4 with just a minute left in this game, and that'll be all she wrote. My goodness, my brain's all over the place. Short-handed goal from Bystedt, power play goal from Eklund, and from being tied at 4, we win 6-4, being outshot 38-29. Nonetheless, we come away with it. Lindell a goal and 2 assists, 2 goals from Eklund. Once again, goaltending a little suspect, not what we were seeing in the preseason, but we'll take the victory nonetheless. Lucius pulled groin, which will keep him out for, like a week or so. So I'm going to make some lineup changes with Lucius out. We're going to bring in our 13th forward, which is Tyler Boucher. Then I think we'll put Allmark back between the pipes and get some calendar simulation done. I think Lindbergh was technically better in his one start, but we have a back-to-back coming up. Auto goalie rotate's going to take care of that. Then another back-to-back the week after. So let's just get some simulation done. Let's just simulate and see what the Stars have in store for us, as we have a 4-game road trip coming up after we started off the season with 6-3 and 6-4 victories, outscoring our opponents 12-7. We're going on the road now to take on Seattle and then Vancouver, followed by Minnesota and Chicago again after we beat them 6-4. 5-2 loss on the road, and Lucius back in the lineup now. So 5-2 loss on the road against Seattle, then Vancouver. Of course, now we've got to stop the simulation, then restart the simulation because the calendar will never tell you what it was. 3-1 win, followed by a 4-3 loss. All right, let's keep it rolling. Chicago Blackhawks, we beat 6-4 at home a couple of weeks ago. Now we face them in Chicago, and we beat them 4-3 in the shootout to go 4-2-0 through our first 6 games. Facing Minnesota for the 3rd time in 3 weeks, 6-3 win, 4-3 loss, and 5-1 win in those 3 games. All right, we'll take it. Tampa Bay beat us 4-1, and then we have the Anaheim Ducks on the road, who are 1-5-1 at the moment. A little Battle of California. Okay, we can do that down in the AHL. And the Ducks, my goodness, it takes forever to simulate, beat us 6-3. Great. So we're 5-4-0 through our first 9 games. Let's keep on going to the 10th of November, which is when my next scouting report goes until. So let's get a few more games done with here. 4-0 shutout, our first shutout victory of the season coming at home against the Buffalo Sabres. 6-4 win against the Washington Capitals. There we go, a couple of Eastern Conference opponents that we take down. The Predators are 4-4-2. We faced them at home, and they beat us in the shootout 4-3, our first non-regulation loss of the season. I'll take care of that in the AHL in a moment. And then a 6-2 loss against Dallas. Yeah, okay. We're 7-5-1 through 13 games, second in the Pacific, but could be better. I'll just take a moment here to check out the scouting report, then we can keep on simulating. All right, that's taken care of. Now back to the simulation. Let's do a couple games here. Kings, Golden Knights on the road, and then we'll take on the Kings at home a couple games from now. We beat them 5-0. Beautiful on the road. Then we shut out the Vegas Golden Knights 4-0. Back-to-back shutout victories, and 3 of our last 4 victories have come by shutouts. 4-0 against the Sabres, then 5-0 against the Kings, and 4-0 against Vegas. Okay, let's keep it going here against the Kings now at home in the Shark Tank. They are below 500 at this point. First period, 1-0 Kings, Arthur Kaliev. Second period, 3-1 Fiala power play, Bushnevich power play. Then Hugo Grans with a shorthanded goal. We're down by 2 here in the third period. Maybe we're better in the calendar simulation. But we have, hold on, William Eklund, there's a little bit of life, getting one past Jonas Korpisalo. Power play LA, we kill it off, down by 1 halfway through the third period. Shots are even, we just need 1. Power play San Jose, killed off by the Kings in this Battle of California. 3 minutes to go, still down by 1. We're now leading in the shots. Goalie pulled! But the Kings hang on to win it. Shots and 37-30 for San Jose. Korpisalo makes 35 saves. Brutal loss, but it was a good show. Let's get back to some more simulation in the calendar. At home to take on the Rangers, followed by the Flyers. We lose 2-1 in overtime against the Rangers. Then the Flyers, let's see this. Tanguay and Reynolds for Victor Hedman, really. But I'll have to pass on that for the moment. 7-7-1 are the Flyers as they come into town. We beat them 6-3 for our 10th win of the season. That's 10 wins through 18 games. On the road now, Colorado and then Winnipeg. The Avalanche are 12-6-1. We shut them out 3-0. Another shutout victory. Okay. The Jets, we beat them 3-2 in overtime. They're now 7-8-1 on the season. We are 12-6-2 through 20 games. The Red Wings are 13-6-2. We beat them 5-4. All right. We're at 21 game point, which is around that quarter mark, halfway from halfway. We are second in the Pacific Division, 1 point behind the Kraken, 1 point above the Canucks. Let's get a quick look at how the team is doing. Not too much of a deep dive. Well, let's just check it out. Through 21 games, Pavel Bushnevich has 25 points to lead the team. I'd be curious to see if it's still that first line or the top 6 that's really just carrying. Eklund, point per game. Connor Bedard, only 5 goals. Interesting. But still about around point per game at 20 and 21. Lucius, 19 and 19. Drouin, 10 goals, 17 points. Love it. Hurdle, Hughes also with 17. So from Hughes to Bushnevich, all between 17 and 25 points through 21 games, or 19 for Lucius. Cody Glass, 14 for him. Very nice. Bystedt, 10 points in 21 games. He's on pace for something like a 40-plus point season. Kalinin has 9, 32 penalty minutes as well. Rodin, Lindell, Lind, nothing crazy. Tanguay, 4 goals. Pickering, Kniazev. Danil here, 1 assist through 21 games and a -5. Yikes. I think we can bring in Tyler Boucher now for some fourth line action. Goaltending, Allmark has all of those shutouts. 10-2-2 with 4 shutouts. My goodness. Wow, Lindbergh's numbers coming back down to earth from last season. Still serviceable, but not fantastic. I guess that's a good way to put it. But 4 out of Allmark's 10 victories coming by means of shutout. My goodness. I'll also want to see how the special teams are looking at this point. Don't need to look at the entire NHL. Just curious to see what the percentages are at. 31.3% on the power play. Wow, amazing. Penalty kill, 82.6. So the power play, the penalty kill is just the one thing I'd want to see there. 82.6, is that closer to the bottom than the top? 82, around the middle, but I'd still say closer to the bottom. So special teams, I'm not going to make any major changes now. I'll especially the power play, firing on all cylinders. It'll just be that fourth line change. So Tanguay can go back to playing on the right side of the fourth line with Cunnin as the centerman, and Gushin will come out for Tyler Boucher, who did all right in the preseason, only played 2 games so far in the regular season. Gushin really had his chance. He had, what, was it 4 assists in 3 games in the preseason? 1 point in 21 games. Of course, limited ice time, not the greatest opportunities, etc., etc. Don't blame him, but for 1 point in over 20 games, I need a bit more. Big stretch of games coming up here heading into December, so let's just simulate and see what happens. The Canadiens are a 500 team, 10-10-2. We beat them 5-4. Back-to-back 5-4 wins. We're on a 4 or 5 game winning streak. 7-2 win against the Flames on the road. Back home to take on the Ducks. Ooh, a narrow 2-1 loss. The Kraken are 16-6-1. We beat them 3-2. Another 1-goal game right there. We got a back-to-back coming up. Devils and then Lightning both on the road, followed by then the Penguins, Islanders, and Stars all on the road. Little road trip here. 3-1 win, followed by a 5-2 loss the next night. 17-8-2 is the record. We shut out the Penguins 3-0. I'd be curious to see if that's the 5th shutout from Linus Allmark. Injury down in the AHL can just be taken care of. Islanders and then the Stars. Let's see what we can do here before we come back home to take on Vegas. Islanders 8-17-2. We shut them out 3-0, and then a 4-1 win. Mike, is this all Linus Allmark? I gotta see this. Linus, is that you? Oh, what? 16-2-2 with 6 shutouts, 927 save percentage, and 2.06 goals against average. Sheesh. Wow. Okay. All right, you do you, big boy. We'll let the big dogs eat. We'll do it. We'll let it happen. No problem. We are 28-2. 8-2 in our last 10 games. Let's do a little slow sim here against the Vegas Golden Knights. Probably one of our last. We'll do another slow sim at the halfway point. We're around 10 games away from there. We're just going to keep on simulating. No need to stop for any reason. First period, 1-0. Chaz Lucius. Second period, 3-1. Cody Glass, and then Lucius' second of the night. Anthony Beauvillier makes it a 2-goal game. We're up 3-1 through 40. Chaz Lucius Haynes the 7th with 2 goals tonight, looking for that hat-trick. Shea Theodore shorthanded on that early power play opportunity for us, but then Lucius gets his hat-trick on the power play, and then a 4th goal from Chaz Lucius, and then a 6th now from Connor Bedard. Eichel another goal to make it 6-3. What a period this has been. Power play Vegas, that's killed off. Oh my. Shorthanded goal from Theodore. 3 unanswered from us until Eichel comes in. Bedard scoring just 8 seconds after Lucius got his 4th of the night. And we win 6-3 shots and 39-30. Lucius first star in this one with 4 goals. A goal and 3 assists for Bedard. 4 assists from Quinn Hughes. And 27 saves on 30 shots. For Linus Allmark. Wow, what a game that was. Lucius now leading the team in points with 33 through 29. Lucius, man, what a guy. Let's keep on going. Let's go see the Oilers. Why not? We have a good history with the Oilers. Let's go see them. Predators, Canucks, Kraken, and Kings all between now and then. At home against the Predators, we're 12-13-3. We lose 6-4. That's our biggest loss in a while, actually. In a very long while. We allowed 5 against Tampa Bay, but that's it. The Canucks are 18-11-1. We go into Vancouver and lose 5-4 in the shootout. Then we win 7-6 in a barn burner in Seattle. In LA for a 3-2 loss. The Blackhawks want to send us Seth Jones. No. We are 22-10-3, taking on the 14-14-4 Edmonton Oilers, coming off of a 3-2 loss in Los Angeles. Our last few games haven't been amazing. We've been allowing a lot of goals. First period, 2-1 Sharks, Buchnevich, and Kalinin on the power play. Vilmanis scoring on Ullmark. Second period, 3-2 as Draisaitl scores for the Oilers, but then Glass gives us our lead once more. Shots are 27-18 through 40 minutes, and we're up by 1 thanks to Cody Glass. Love me some Cody Glass. Love those revival stories. No goals through the first half of the third period, outshooting Edmonton 33-22. Hanging on tight, but I'd love to see an insurance marker. Let's see a little Quinn Hughes in here, maybe. Let's see some top 6 action. Or we can just hang on tight with a minute to go, and we'll take it. Cole Lind, even strength, not even. And then Boris Kalinin adds the empty netter. Okay, make it a 5-2 final. Shots and 40-25. Cody Glass, a goal and an assist, including the game winner. 2 goals from Boris Kalinin, including the empty netter, and a goal and an assist from Cole Lind. Boris, the Latvian locomotive Kalinin, love to see that. And that is a nice victory for us to give us 23 on the season as we approach the halfway mark. So that's 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Game number 41 will be up against the Toronto Maple Leafs, who are a very good team in the Eastern Conference, 22-9-3 at the moment. That will be our halfway mark. LA Kings now at home. We beat them 3-2 in overtime. Very good. Anaheim Ducks on the road. We beat them 5-4 in a shootout. That's 38. This will be 39, 40. Yeah, just want to make sure I wasn't going over there. Winnipeg Jets were 10-21-3. We go into Winnipeg and win 3-1. And then at home, the Devils are visiting. They're 22-12-2. We beat them 4-1. All right. So here are for game number 41, the halfway point. We are 27-10-3, taking on the 24-10-4 Toronto Maple Leafs. Let's keep the good times rolling here. It's what, a 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a 5 or 6 game winning streak we're on right now. Let's go into the halfway point with as many as possible. First period, 2-1 Maple Leafs. Brock Nelson and Noah Hannafin opened it up 2-0. Then Pavel Buchnevich stops the bleeding, and we're down by 1 after 20. Second period, no scoring. Shots now in our favor, 25-19, but we are still down by 1 in this third period. Let's look for some heroics. Who's been a hero so far? We've seen some Chaz Lucius. We've seen some Cody Glass. And there's Connor Bedard on the power play. Not much of a goal scorer this season, but he pitches in. In the simulation, in the stats, I've been seeing Drouin, but in the slow sim, we haven't been seeing much of him. We're tied at 2, and Tomas Hertl, the captain, puts us up 3-2. Will that be enough with just a couple minutes left in this third period? And it will be, as he adds an empty netter for insurance. Wow, from down 2-0, winning this one 4-2 the final. Shots and 36-25. Game winner goes to the captain. 3 third period goals. First our honors for him. A goal and assist from Buchnevich, a goal and assist from Bedard, and we will head into the halfway point with a record of 10-3, on pace to go 56-20-6. To put that in perspective, we won the President's Trophy last season with 55 wins, now on pace to go for 56. At the halfway point, we are atop the NHL, technically tied with the Avalanche, but we are on top. I'm not exactly sure why. They have more wins, but we're tied in ROW, these regulation plus overtime wins. Could it be goals for? I'm not sure what it is in the game. But regardless, we are atop the NHL at the moment with those 59 points. The goals for per game, second best in the NHL. Goals against per game, 2.66. Let's see, 5th best in the NHL. Largely in part to Linus Ullmark, of course. Power play of 34.7%. I would think by far, by far the best in the NHL, like 13.7% away from anybody else, which is higher than the lowest teams in the league. Wow, 35.7. We're scoring more than a third of our opportunities on the power play. Penalty kill, though, has gone down, 81.5. It's among the bottom, 10 or 12 teams there. Okay, so we could look to improve on the penalty kill. That's our one area, probably. 14-5-2 at home, 14-5-1 on the road, 7-2-1 in our last 10. In the points category, Connor Bedard back to leading the team in points now. He has 48 through 41, on pace to score 96, as opposed to last season's 106, I think he had something like that. Buchnevich also on pace to get 90 points right there. Lovely stuff. Chaz Lucius, 43 in 39. William Eklund, 38. Drouin, 21 goals and 37 points. His career high of 39 goals last season, on pace now to score 42. Love me some Jonathan Drouin. Tomas Hertl, 34 points for the 34-year-old. Quinn Hughes on pace for 66 points. Cody Glass, 28. Kalinin on pace for 44 in his rookie season. Cole Lind, 19. Bystedt, 17. That's good. Slowed down a little bit. It's interesting that 4 of his 7 goals are game winners. He's playing 12:38 on average per night. Maybe I should get him some more penalty kill time. Is he getting enough? I'm not sure if he has penalty kill time. I'll have to look into that. Rodin on pace for 28 points. Larry Tongue, 8 goals, 12 points for him. All right. Esa Lindell, 11 points plus 14. Cunnin, 11. Pickering, 7 plus 6. Kniazev, 4 plus 7. Tyler Boucher, 2 assists through 22 games and a -2. So that 4th line left wing spot is just a black hole right now. Yikes. Goaltending. I still didn't trade to Ozzy Weisblatt, by the way. That's still a move that we're going to make. Linus Ullmark, 24-3-3 with 6 shutouts. On pace to go, well, he won't, if he starts in 62 games, on pace to go 48-6-6 with 12 shutouts. Not going to happen, I don't think, but still. 913 save percentage, 2.42 goals against average. Lindbergh, he's had some bad luck record-wise, 4-7-0, but around a 900 save percentage and 2.88 goals against for a 79 overall, I'll take it. Especially when you think about other more costly alternatives, right? So, great to see all of that. Looking at the entire NHL, Bedard's 48-41 is among the best, but it's this guy who, Billy Ferriero, the 30th overall pick in 2023. He has 99 slap and wrist shot accuracy. What? Wow, 41 goals for him through 39 games. Oh my goodness, he's a playmaker? Tarasenko at the age of 36 is up there. Yeah, because he's benefiting from playing in Detroit. Matthews, Pasternak, Shane Wright, Connor Bedard, Mikko Rantanen, and other big names up here. So Bedard is up there, but not quite at what the rest of what that guy Ferriero is doing. And for Quinn Hughes, he is 4th in scoring for defensemen. And for rookie skaters, is Kalinin up here at all? Yeah, Kalinen's also 4th in rookie scoring. All right, good to see. I think Linus Ullmark also probably by far, no, not by far. Vasilevsky has 22 wins, 4 shutouts, 926 save percentage, 2.15 goals against. Even Kakinen, of course, Kakinen's amazing. Yeah, I wouldn't say Ullmark is a runaway for the Vezina right now, but his numbers are incredible. 6 shutouts around the halfway point. Wow. So not too much else to say at the halfway point here, ladies and gentlemen. The team is doing very well, but the penalty kill, and especially the 4th line, getting a 4th line player who could be on the penalty kill maybe would be a decent option for us. So we'll do our due diligence here and check out all the trade blocks around the NHL. So checking out the blocks here, Anaheim, no one on the block there. Arizona, some prospects, including Seamek as well, then a bunch of prospects after him. Nobody in Boston. Buffalo, this medium-league defensive prospect that the Discord server has made mention of a few times. He's 6'5", 19 years of age, medium-league 75 overall, 4th round pick in 2026. Defensive defenseman with 90 shot blocking, not much else aside from that, bumping up the overall. He has 32 points in 27 games with the Saskatoon Blades. Keep note of that if you have any interest in him. Calgary Flames, prospect, Carolina Hurricanes, Ryan Suzuki, Joe Pavelski at the age of 43. Could he come back to San Jose? Wow. He's still getting it done. He has 32 points in 36 games this season. He's been in Carolina for the last few years now. He's on the final year of a $3.43 million deal. We could get Pavelski, but he has a fair amount of trade value for his age, gotta say. Chicago Blackhawks, yeah, Seth Jones, we saw that. Travis Dermott, Manson, Dickinson, Kurashev, and Dewar. Colorado, mostly prospects. Columbus, Perunovic. Let's see. Leo Carlson in Dallas. I believe there was mention of him as well in the Discord server. A real-life top prospect in the 2023 draft. 20 points in 30 games in the AHL. 67 and 72 last season. 11 points in 21 games through his NHL career so far. He's a 78 overall, medium top 6 potential. 23 years of age. Okay, interesting. It would be a bit of a reclamation project again. We're used to those. This guy, Brad Ennis, the 5th overall pick in 2027. Also on the block. High top 6 potential. Another top 4D guy right there. So some interesting prospects. Detroit, Kopp, Grzelcyk, Hedman, and Klingberg all with multi-year deals. Edmonton, Nugent Hopkins, 2 years left on his deal at $5.125 million. He would be interesting as well. He has 23 points in 38 games on the season. Career Edmonton Oiler. Would it make sense for the Oilers to trade him? They're 16, 18, and 4. It would make sense. but would it make sense for us? That is the key. Florida, we see Puljujarvi with 4 years left on his deal. Then Mantha, Brown, Bertuzzi, and Domi, all on expiring deals. Remember, if there's anything you want to know more about a player, what's this player scoring, what's this prospect like, let me know, and I'll, in a comment or on the Discord server, I'll get back to you. But can't look at every single guy in depth here. Kings, lots of prospects. Wild, nobody. Le Canadien Montreal, prospects. Nashville, nobody. Devils, prospects. Islanders, Andre Palat. Rangers, prospects. Senators, Kampf, Nieto, Yannick, Leonard, a lot of mid-type players. Flyers, prospects. Penguins, Toffoli and Granlund on expiring deals. Seattle Kraken, prospects. St. Louis Blues, prospects. Lightning, prospects. A lot of prospects. Maple Leafs, Morgan Riley, and some other pieces. 3 years left on Morgan Riley's deal, getting paid $7.5 million. He has 31 points in 39 games this year. Last season, 55 points, so definitely on a career type of pace it looks like at the moment, with a good team around him. Interesting there. Okay, a lot of trade value. No one in Vancouver. Vegas, nobody there either. No one in Washington, and Winnipeg has a bunch of prospects. All right, so there are the trade blocks around the NHL at the moment. If we were to make a trade, I think we do have a fair bit of value if we're to look especially at our rookie skaters. If there's anyone that we'd be okay with parting with, we have some unsigned pieces. I like all these guys, but if we had to part with one or more of them, wouldn't be the end of the world. It'll just have to be the right deal. And if we were to get a player, where would they fit? Who goes out? That's for all of you to think about. Also considering in terms of personnel, if we want to start thinking about the expiring contracts on our team, we are playing with $28.185 million. Chaz Lucius at this time would want 10.5 on an extension, 8 years at 17 million. Yeah, so we're going to wait on Chaz Lucius, especially that he's an RFA. Jonathan Drouin would take 9.9 million for 1 year. What a crazy season he's having. Could even break last year's career highs. He would probably take around 8.45 million, so we could get him on a 1 year deal around 8 point something. That leaves us with 20 million to play with Lucius, Rodin. It would be possible. It could be. Well, then also goaltending. Rodin, I might look at extending Rodin ASAP. We could do a 3-year deal that keeps him as an RFA, but I think we've seen enough from him that I'd be okay giving him an 8-year extension at around 6 million or so. I think that would be a fair deal. Esa Lindell, he's probably walking, but it's not the craziest deal that he wants. 5.2 for another couple seasons. Luke Cunning's been a good trooper. I'd be happy to re-sign him to a cheap deal. Bjorn Fott, Boucher, we can take care of all that later on. But for extensions, I'd be okay with looking at Cunnin, Rodin right now, maybe even Drouin. Linus Ullmark, what a year he's having. He would only want 2.9 million to stick around because he is getting up there in age. We could go like another 2 years, 2 million on him. But I don't know, would that also be realistic for how he's playing? Habsheed down in the U.S. system. He's getting a lot of games, not the greatest numbers. And our last unsigned player, let's see how Samu Ranta is doing over in Liga as an 82 overall. 9 goals, 13 assists, so he has 22 points through 34 games, beating last season's totals with still another 20-plus games to go. Getting a lot of ice time, good for his development, very good. How's Ricky the Brain? 20 points for him in the in Liga as well. So we have 2 prospects in Liga. Ricky Brain looking good. Ranta and Brain, future studs for our franchise. So we got to consider potential contract extensions as well as maybe any trades we'd be thinking about making. But I think the biggest thing is that 4th line and the penalty kill. Everything else for the defense, for the top 9, I'm quite content. We're on a pace of 56 wins. Cole Lind has been a name that we've been thinking about for if someone were to move out in that bottom 9, it would be him. You know what? He's on pace for 10 goals and 38 points. For a 3rd line, 2-way forward kind of guy, it's not horrible. Plus, he's playing a minute less than last season. We could try and give him maybe power play time now because Kleenan's there. I think Kleenan took his spot, basically. We could try and get some more time for him, but Cole Lind is doing what he's expected to do. So if we did move him, it wouldn't be for, he's disappointing. It would just be that he's the odd man out. So I'll go ahead and leave you there, ladies and gentlemen, at the halfway point here in year number 6, looking to defend the President's Trophy, to defend the Stanley Cup. We're on pace for 56 wins. Things are going well, but we have to make sure that we also finish well. So as always, be sure to leave your thoughts down here on YouTube in the comments section or over on the Discord server, link in the description, with your thoughts and or suggestions on this first half of the season so far. Leave a like if you did enjoy, and if you're excited for the second half, leave your predictions for what our record will be. You know what? Shout out to whoever gets our record the closest. You'll get a special comment shout out in the next one. Give me your record predictions for 2027-28. Aside from that, it looks like full steam ahead. So thank you very much for taking the time to watch. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already to be made aware of all of our uploads. Franchise mode, career simulations. We had our Tage Thompson career sim go live a few days ago. Breaking news and analysis in the real world of hockey, especially more and more data casts coming out and breaking news videos, live streams with the NHL trade deadline approaching. So you don't want to miss out on that as well. Be sure that you're subscribed. Join in on the team. It's a great community and will be that much greater with you as a part of it. But as always, I appreciate you taking the time to watch, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again in the next one.